My name is Andrea Dias, and I am so honored to welcome Governor Walz to Racine. I've called this city my home my entire life. I am a wife, a mother, and a grandmother. I have my husband, Marcus, and my son, James, here with me. I am also a cancer survivor. 14 years ago, I was in a battle for my life. And on top of that, worrying about how I was going to pay for my treatments that I was receiving. I thought my family and I may go bankrupt. But then, thanks to the Affordable Care Act, I was able to get insurance and health care that I needed. And now I help take care of families, friends. I don't know what my family would have done without the Affordable Care Act. Which is why I'm so concerned about Donald Trump's threat to terminate the Affordable Care Act. He has planned it. I'm sure everyone heard of Project 25 to make life more expensive, more difficult for families like mine by gutting out the Affordable Care Act and Medicare and taking away our health care coverage. A friend of mine who's retired and an ex-military worked in health care. One bill, $25,000. I can't afford that, and I don't know anyone in Racine who can. Instead, we need leaders who want to take Wisconsin forward. We need Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz. We can count on Vice President Kamala Harris because she went against Big Pharma, and she won. Lowering the cost of prescription and drug costs for Wisconsinite. And Governor Tim Walz is a lifetime Midwestern, so he understands middle-class values and has proven it. His tracking record of delivering for working families. He signed a large tax cut in Minnesota history and capped the cost of insulin for $35 a month. There is no question that Wisconsinites are fired up electing President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz. In fact, I already cast my ballot this morning. First day of early voting, and I encourage all of you to do the same as soon as possible. Vote early. But before that, we know Walz is humble. He has empathy and humanity for all people. So without further ado, I am so happy to introduce the next President of the United States of America, Vice President, Tim Walz.
Live in the same small You know, we had a little gathering down in Madison, but I think there's more energy here tonight. So thank you all. A big thank you to Andrea. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for believing in this country, and thank you for the kind introduction. Mayor Mason, thank you for having me in this beautiful community. Grateful. Look, thank you to all of you. I see it is a school night, and there are papers to check. There's kids to get in bed. There's games to watch. But you know what? You put all that aside, and you came here to this beautiful room for one simple reason. You love your country. You love your country. So thank you. I could not be prouder than to be on this ticket with Kamala Harris from her first day as a prosecutor, a district attorney, attorney general of the largest state in the nation, a United States senator, and vice president of the United States. She's had one client her entire life: the people. The people. Stood up for women and children against predators and abusers, for seniors and workers against fraudsters and big corporate interests, for families and communities against transnational gangs and traffickers. Never did she once ask when someone came up to her asking for help. She never asked if they were Democrat or Republican. She simply asked, how can I help? How can I help? And can we just agree with that resume we had, that there is no one more qualified or has been more qualified to be President of the United States than Kamala Harris? Almost to the hour, 14 days until the polls close, people. 14 days till this election, so we know what's there. Look, we're running like everything's on the line because everything's on the line. Everything's on the line. Kamala and I are barnstorming everywhere. We're going on TV shows, interviews, podcasts. I said, I'm about one interview away from being a regular on Fox News, and that takes a bunch, so one more. Because you all know, it takes a lot of stamina to run for president. It takes a lot of stamina to be president. So you have to wonder, how does Donald Trump think he's going to do that? Because he has no stamina to do this. I don't know. You see his closing argument the other day? He veered a little off script. He had a lengthy discussion, and I'm not going to touch this too much. We had a lengthy discussion about golf tips or something, some of you know. And then he reminded us how much crowd size matters to this guy. So Donald should just buy a sports car and overcompensate that way, I think. It'd be the thing to do. So this would be me. That's just me. Just leave us the hell out of it. I think we can agree that. Leave us out of it. Now, he canceled a debate, which, look, we should give him all credit for that, because one butt whipping is enough in that case for him. But he canceled a bunch of interviews, and his team actually said it. It was a moment of clarity, and they said he's exhausted. I'm with her. I'm with her. Look, I don't care how exhausted he is. He's not nearly as exhausted as the American people are of that guy. I'm tired of it. But here's the good news, Racine. He is never going to be president again. He is never going to be president again. You see it? You're voting. You're voting. Good. The good news is, not only is he not going to be president, but we've got a president that's laying out a new way forward with opportunity for all of us. She actually has a plan, not a concept of a plan, a plan. 100 million Americans will see a tax cut under Kamala Harris's plan. $6,000 for every child, for that family that's born, so that you can get that kid off to a good start. Buy the crib, buy the formula, buy the clothes you need, get them off to a good start. Every single family with a child tax credit. It makes a difference. And then going after price gouging. Now, the Republicans seem to have a problem with this. Oh, you know, they don't believe in capitalism. We damn sure do believe in capitalism, but I'll tell you what's not capitalism. When you hear a hurricane's coming to Florida and all of a sudden the airlines jack up the prices so people can't get out of there. That's not capitalism. That's not capitalism. That's price gouging. And the idea of Big Pharma charging $800 for a vial of insulin that costs them $500 to make, that's why she's going to make sure that if you need insulin or your family needs insulin, $35 a month, just like we do in Minnesota. And for those of you with less hair and gray like me, and if you're young, listen up, because someday you'll pay attention to this. Kamala Harris proposed something that we're going to get done that I think is transformational, especially those of us kind of in the middle. I got a nearly 90-year-old mom, and my son turned 18 last weekend. And so we're looking, thank you, and he can vote. So we're looking at how do you pay for kids, how do you pay for education, but she proposed something that is so transformational, Medicare to pay for in-home care for our seniors. It's awesome. And if when you turn 60, I turned 60, and also you start paying attention to Medicare when this happens. But you know what she also proposed? Medicare to pay for glasses and hearing to make your lives a little better. It's a good stuff. And then I just came from a barber shop with a whole bunch of young entrepreneurs that want to start their own business. There he is back there, Alvin. Good to see you. Racine Sport Co. Look. They're looking at a new generation of entrepreneurs, a new generation of making sure our kids thrive. And Kamala's put out a plan to make sure small businesses can get $20,000 forgivable grant and then $50,000 tax credit to get them off the ground and to make a difference. Because I'll damn sure tell you, the biggest companies and the friends of Donald Trump, they're getting a tax cut. Donald Trump hasn't paid federal tax in 10 of the last 15 years. It's time to give the tax cuts to the middle class. And then for the young people here too, the idea of owning your home is something that every middle class family should be able to do. We know that the biggest barrier to doing that is the down payment. That's why she proposed a $25,000 down payment assistance to get folks in their home. Get you in your home. Look, we're neighbors, Minnesota and Wisconsin. We have the same, we have a lot of the same stories, a lot of the same background. And we had a senator we lost way too soon in Paul Wellstone, who used to sum up how the economy's supposed to work and how it's supposed to be fair in a very simple statement. We all do better when we all do better. That's pretty simple. That's pretty simple. Now Donald Trump and his running mate J.D. Vance see things a little differently. And the thing is, I'll give them this. They helped make this easier for everyone. They laid out what they're going to do in their Project 2025 agenda. Now, at the debate I had, Senator Vance tried to claim that Donald Trump would protect the ACA. So this was really fun. You know, Donald Trump, champion of Obamacare. Well, a couple hours ago, I was just with Obama, who said that's a bunch of crap. He tried to get rid of it. You know, and just keep in mind, when they got the Affordable Care Act, if you have any single pre-existing condition, you're out. Because you know how they rigged the system? They let the insurance companies decide who they're going to insure. You don't have to be, well, hell, anybody's a better businessman than Donald Trump. But if you were thinking about this, if you're an insurance company, what would be the best way you could make money? Take in premiums from the healthiest people so you don't have to pay out premiums, and let all the rest of us just sit out there and not get insurance. And as you heard Andrea say, end up with medical bills that nearly breaks your family. That's not right. And under Kamala Harris, we'll make sure it doesn't happen. A new report came out under Donald Trump's plan, and they analyzed it. And one of the things they came up with is that he will start to bankrupt Social Security in 6 years under his plan. Now, just to be clear, that is a program that we pay into. It does not add to the national debt, and it's a best anti-poverty program ever designed. Now, they also analyzed, because he's the only person in America who thinks this, that he's going to put tariffs on most of the products that we buy, and he tries to tell us that that is not exactly what it is. It's a Trump sales tax and will add $4,000 to every family's costs. Now, he came up with a new one. He calls it positive taxation from a guy who doesn't pay taxes. So, all right, look, nothing positive about increasing costs on families. That's why Kamala Harris is focused on it, whether it's the cost of drugs, the cost of products, by stopping the price gouging, home ownership, tax cuts for the middle class. Those are things we can do. But I'm guessing in here, there may be a few, or we know them, our neighbors, hell, in our own family, folks that were Republicans, old school Republicans, that added much to this country, that gave things back. When those folks talked about freedom, they actually kind of meant it. Turns out that this guy, when he talks about freedom, freedom to be in your bedroom, freedom to be in your exam room, freedom to be in your library, all the things that he wants. Now look, this is one that it seems so simple again, kind of like we all do better and we all do better. Neighborhoods, communities, states, countries work better, especially when elected officials just do the things they're supposed to do. Build the roads. Make sure that there's safety there. Make sure that we have good schools. Make sure that we have things like Social Security. Do those things. Do those things. And when it comes to who we love or the families that we want or any of that, just mind your own damn business. And do that. Mind your own business. That is not a catchphrase. That is a golden rule to live by, and your life will be better. Your life will be better. When Kamala talks about freedom, be very clear. And this is where the party of Reagan should be with it. The freedom for you to make decisions about your life, not government officials. Where this room should be full of the people who fly the "don't tread on me" flags, because Trump wants to tread all over your personal freedoms when we're the ones saying, not on our watch, not on our watch. We need to start flying that flag, I'll tell you that. Because in Chicago, we took back the flag from them at that convention. We took back freedom from them. And I'll be damned if Donald Trump will lecture me about family values. So we take families back. And just for good damn measure, we're taking football back from them too, because they got no damn thing about it. Look, freedom means seniors should live in dignity in their retirement. That's what freedom means. Strengthen Social Security, strengthen Medicare. And I'm telling you what, this is one for all of us, because I know Wisconsin and I know Minnesota well. The freedom for our little ones to be, dress them up, put them in their best clothes, send them off to school, to be met at the door by incredible teachers committed to their education. And let those kids have the freedom to be kids instead of being shot dead in their classrooms. That's what we're talking about. And I am taking no crap from these guys on this. I am a veteran, I am a hunter, and I'm a gun owner. Kamala is a gun owner. Kamala is a gun owner. Owning guns does not mean you can't have common sense solutions to stop our kids from being shot in schools. You can do it. You know that. Here's the deal, Wisconsin. Kamala and I know you can uphold the Second Amendment while upholding our first responsibility, protection of our kids and families. And let's be very clear here. Isn't it interesting that both members of the Democratic ticket, Kamala and I, are gun owners? And Donald Trump cannot pass a background check. You guys, I see you out there, some of you, and I love the camo hats. You go in and apply, if you go into Cabela's, apply to get a gun, and watch what happens when 34 felony convictions come up. They tell you to get the hell out of Cabela's. Now, we got a mix here. I'm going to focus on about half the group right now. I'm going to focus on the guys in this group, because here's what the deal is. Think about the women in your lives, daughters, wives, mothers, friends, neighbors, or whatever. If you're wondering about voting, their lives literally depend on how we vote in this election. They literally depend. Trump appointed his 3 Supreme Court justices who lied in their confirmation hearings and said they would uphold Roe versus Wade, and they overturned it, and he brags about it. He is glad that your daughters, your wives, your friends now have less rights than their grandmothers did before them. Yeah, 20 states. 20 states have Trump abortion bans. He calls those 20 states a beautiful thing. You know what that beautiful thing looks like? Women being denied care when they're having complications with their pregnancies, to have miscarriages in parking lots. Survivors of rape and incest having to carry those to term. Fertility clinics turning couples away at the door. And I talked about this. Gwen and I struggled for years to have children. We used fertility treatments, and that's how we got our beautiful daughter, Hope. I will tell you, I'll be damned if anyone, let alone Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, should have any damn say in the family that you have of stopping you from having that. So when we elect a Democratic Congress, we hold the Senate, we elect Kamala Harris president, she will sign Roe versus Wade back into law, protecting your freedom. And guys, don't forget, Kamala Harris asked those judges, asked a really important question. Asked that male judge if he could name a single law that lets the government have a say over a man's body, and the answer is they can't, because it's zero. So I'll tell you what, look around you and know, guys, we're going to have to get this right. We're going to have to get to the polls. We're going to have to vote, because the women are doing their job. We need to do ours right now. So now, if you're not, just to be clear of what we got, this is hard to believe, 14 hours. We got, like, do the math, like 340 hours till this thing comes to an end. You've been hearing me say we're going to sleep when we're dead, and that's exactly what I'm doing on this. So, because we got work to do. But look, there is another reason that the stakes are high in this election. Some of you hear this, I'm sure, from your friends, neighbors, relatives, brothers, and things. Look, we made it through one Trump term. We can get through another. I've said this. Look, I'm an eternal optimist, and teachers, you know this. I supervised the lunchroom for a decade or so. So you got to be optimistic to get through the lunchroom. But the Donald Trump of 2016 who was elected is not the Donald Trump of today by any stretch of the imagination. He is talking now openly about sending the United States military against people who don't support him. He calls these people the enemy from within. Now, just to be clear about that, I'm pretty sure I'm high up on that list. But don't kid yourself. You're on the list too. That's what he's talking about. In America, openly talking about this. Now, he's been given a chance. Look, sometimes we misspeak. All right, so say you misspoke. They gave him a chance to clean it up. He won't clean it up. And this week, J.D. Vance said, you know one thing about Donald Trump? He speaks from the heart. Well, on this issue, his grinchy little 3 times too small heart, he may speak from it, but he does. Now, don't get into this with your neighbors. Be clear about what's up here. This isn't, oh, politicians say that about this. You know the both sides do it thing? That's crap. Both sides don't do it. You are not hearing Democratic politicians talking about sending the military against people we disagree with. Look, the highest ranking soldier in America, General Mark Milley, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who was there with Trump, on record said, and this is a quote, Donald Trump, the most dangerous person ever to the security of this nation. James Mattis, a 4-star general, Trump's own Secretary of Defense, agrees with him. His chief of staff, a 4-star general, John Kelly, said he's the most flawed human being he'd ever met. And today it's been reported that Donald Trump said, I need the kind of generals that Hitler had. Don't be the frog in the boiling water and think this is okay. As a 24-year veteran of our military, that makes me sick as hell. And it should make you sick. Folks, the guardrails are gone. Trump is descending into this madness. A former president of the United States and the candidate for president of the United States says he wants generals like Adolf Hitler had. Think about it. And he already has the Supreme Court in his pocket. They've effectively given him full immunity. If he's elected again, he will appoint up to 3 more Supreme Court justices. And God knows there's not a single spine in the Republican Party in Congress that will stand up to him. You know that. But look, there is a way to make sure none of that happens. And it's not the way they talk about, and it's not through violence, and it's not through saying any of that. It's by beating them at the ballot box. Beat them at the ballot box. Vote. Vote. Look, 14 days. We're still the underdogs in this thing. We have got to leave it all on the field. This is the time. Wisconsin, you've got same-day voter registration, and early voting started today. Bring a photo ID if you're going to vote in person. We also know we need to knock on doors. People are still undecided. We need to make the phone calls. 1 or 2 votes in a precinct can make the difference. It matters. Talk to them. If you got an extra buck or two, KamalaHarris.com. It lets us open the offices. We get out there. We make a difference. Look, we get to control our destiny. We know what the choice is on the other side. And I know by looking at this room and rooms across this country that we're in and will be in, that America is better than that guy. America is better. Kamala Harris wants to be a president for all Americans. She wants to put policies in place that will improve people's lives, whether they vote for us or not. She knows that the Constitution stands above all. And she knows that the American people deserve a president with decency, with compassion, and with vision. So here's the deal, folks. We get the chance. We get to make a difference. She says it all the time, and you know it. When we fight, we win. When we vote, we win. Wisconsin, let's win this thing. Let's go. Thank you.